So are you still trying to figure out ways to keep your chickens' water from freezing? Even if you live out in the middle of nowhere with no electricity, then we're going to tell you everything that you need and how to make it coming up next. So just a little side note, I'm sure there are many areas in this country or in the world that this method won't work. We're talking like 30 below zero or more. But so far in New Hampshire, 15-degree weather, it's been working great. So during the winter months, we noticed a need within the homesteading community, and we wanted to see if we could help. People were searching on YouTube for ways to keep their chickens' water from freezing, or at least slow down the process. I got the idea while I was driving past our local lake, and I saw that the water around the docks were not freezing. That's because of a device that continually moves and circulates the water in that area. So I used 4 main products for this project, but one of them needed to be modified because the product on its own didn't seem to work for this setup. The first product is called a bubble box, and it costs about $10. The second product is a voltage regulator. This is what changed everything and allowed the bubble box to work for this project. That also costs about $10. The third product is a rechargeable 6-volt battery, and for this project it's really important that that battery is a rechargeable battery. The fourth product is a small solar panel. The cost for that was approximately $25 to $30. Please keep in mind that there are much cheaper solar panels available. This just happened to be the one that we chose for this project. So in a nutshell, this is how this works. The bubbler sends air down into the chicken's bucket or bowl and creates movement in the water, which dramatically slows the freezing process. Keep in mind that the 1 or 2D batteries that typically run the bubble box was not enough power for this to work. Instead, it's powered by that 6-volt battery that's run through a voltage regulator. And because changing batteries constantly would be expensive and get old real quick, an easy fix for this was just to add the solar panel to recharge the battery. Some might be a little intimidated with this project, especially seeing all the wiring and things that go into it. It really is a relatively quick and easy project that anyone can do. If you watch to the end, I'm going to show you how everything's put together and set up for our chickens. So let's get started with the assembly. So if you want to turn up your voltage, you just turn this screw clockwise, and if you want to turn it down, you turn it counterclockwise. Because we're using a 6-volt battery, I just turn this screw counterclockwise to get to 1.50. That's the output for a normal D battery. So that's at 1.5 volts. That's what you would get with a D battery if you didn't modify the bubble box at all. So we need more bubbles than that in order to keep the water from freezing. So what we want to do now is increase the voltage by turning up the voltage regulator, turning that clockwise, and that's going to increase the bubbles. So right now it's at 1.50, 1.75, that's 2.2, 2.25, 2.50. So that's at 3 volts. And that's at 3.5 volts. So this system would work for multiple buckets. You would just need to get some splitters for your air hose. You can get those at Walmart or any pet store. So as I mentioned before, this system kept our chickens' water from freezing for about 12 hours in 15-degree weather. But nobody wants to keep going out and changing the battery and recharging the battery. So we found a pretty inexpensive way on Amazon to take care of that problem. It's just a small solar panel that you clip on to your battery and you're good to go. So obviously I don't want to put the bubble box and the battery out where the ducks and the chickens can get it. I'm looking to get a sealable box that I can put both of those items in and also mount the solar panel onto a pole. So depending on how high and how far your water source is from your bubbler, you're probably going to need to get some more tubing. I just got this at Walmart, which is not very expensive at all. So if you're planning on having multiple buckets, that's fine. You just need to get some splitters for your tubing, which is also found on Amazon or Walmart, anything like that, pet stores. But you're also going to need to turn up your regulator just to make sure that there's enough power and there's enough air going to both buckets or however many buckets you're using. So the tubing that came with the bubble box isn't quite long enough for what I'm doing, so I just cut some extra line off to run down to my water source. So you may need to experiment with this part of the project. This is an aquarium bubble stone that will keep the hose at the bottom of your bucket or your pan, whatever you're using. However, I would attach like some type of clamp or something to the side of the bucket just to make sure that the hose stays in place. So I'm just setting this up like this as an example to show you how all of this works. So just like before, you want to hook up your battery. Now your bubble box should be powered. So right now I have it set at 3 volts. So if you have more buckets, you're probably going to want to turn that voltage up more. I'm going to hook up my solar panel. And other than attaching the box to the shelf, that's pretty much all set. So this morning I figured I'd take advantage of the cold weather and do an experiment using the 2-bucket method. The first time we did this, just keep in mind that we only used 1 bucket and we didn't have an air stone on the end of the line. This time we have 2 buckets with 2 air stones, so let's see how long it lasts. So we were really excited that this worked for us. We did have a little bit of a ring on the outside of the bucket, but plenty of room for the chickens and the ducks to get their water. So if you like this video, please consider subscribing, maybe even sharing with some friends that could benefit from this project. Thanks for watching, guys. So at this point I'm going to screw everything together. I would normally paint it at this point and then mount the box to it, but for demonstration purposes I'm just going to leave it as is. So obviously there's multiple ways to do this. This is just something I came up with. We're actually going to hang this on the side of our barn, but if you don't have a barn or a shed, I'm sure it would work on a tree or a pole as well. Maybe you need to come up with a completely different system that would work for you. So just an idea for the solar panel mount. I mean, I know there's probably a million ways to do it, but we're just going to mount ours to the side of our barn. But if you don't have that, I was thinking maybe a T-post in the ground and mounting it on that somehow, or building some type of base with a 2x4 that comes up out of the ground. You can mount the solar panel on top of that, maybe even put it on a swivel.